broadcast team, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Coach, thanks. CA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to the Inner Harbor Stadium here in Baltimore, Maryland. The Raven defense taking the field a few moments ago, and their all-time leading sack man, Terrell Suggs, was firing up the troops. They get set for what should be a good matchup with the Denver Broncos. Hi again, everyone. I'm Brandon Gaudin. Welcome to the NFL on EA Sports. With me, as always, Charles Davis. And, Charles, we look at a matchup like this. It's really the running backs that may take center stage here today.
And in today's football, they're still valuable, not just as runners, but guys who can catch the ball as well. It's really the number of touches that determines things these days.
It's the first weekend of autumn, and the NFL is in full swing as off we go on EA Sports. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Case Keenum bringing out the Denver Broncos, who are 2-0. Two close wins, but wins nonetheless. They won by 3 in Week 1 over Seattle, and then a 1-point win against Oakland in Week 2. Case Keenum just 38 yards passing in the first half, but 184 in the second.
And there were concerns about the Broncos' quarterbacking spot, and those concerns have been around for the last few seasons. But it looks like Keenum is starting to solidify things because he's so resilient. You just pointed out a tough first half, shakes it off, has a big second half, and leads his team to a late victory over Oakland.
And he was able to shed the tackle, but the reserves come in for the stop. The offensive starters now for the Broncos.
Let's focus outside on Demaryius Thomas. His numbers were down slightly last year. First time in the last 5 years he didn't top 1,000 yards. But this guy's been to 5 Pro Bowls. And when I think about the evolution of his career, from his time at Georgia Tech, where they were running an option offense and he didn't catch much more than bombs, to now being a complete receiver, no reason in my mind to think he won't be over 1,000 yards again in the future.
Give him 4 on the carry, and it'll make this a 3rd and about 2. Philip Lindsay, he's really been tough to contain first 2 weeks of the NFL season. Not just being talked about in the city of Denver, but really around the league, Charles.
Yeah, his first 2 NFL games, 104 total yards in the opener, 111 in Week 2, both of them wins. That makes him the first undrafted rookie in NFL history to log 2 100-yard games to begin his career. Came from the University of Colorado, so he's very comfortable at altitude. And the big fella stuffed that one up in a big way. I think doubling him has to be a priority because you can't move up to the next level if you don't take care of him first.
So on 4th down, here's Marquette King to punt it away. He steps into this one, and this is a rocket. And a bit of a mistake there. This is well into the end zone for a touchback. Baltimore Ravens offense takes the field, led by that man, Joe Flacco. Now, Thursday night, it was a loss to the Cincinnati Bengals, 34-23. But Flacco put up big numbers in that, 76 yards and a pair of touchdowns to boot.
But playing in Baltimore, when Joe Flacco puts up those kind of numbers, it's usually not a good night for the Ravens because they are what? A run-first team. Only 66 yards rushing in the game against Cincinnati. That defensive front of the Bengals held that down. So it made it harder for them to run offense. So when Joe Flacco has to throw it 55 times, usually not a good sign for the Ravens.
On the ground, their leading rusher from a season ago, it's Alex Collins. And he'll get only a couple up to the 22. On 2nd down, Flacco to throw. It's complete to Brown, right side. And they'll get him down here at the 23. That catch good for only a yard, and it'll be 3rd down. Third down, Flacco needs a decent chunk of yardage. And the Broncos get there and take him down. DeMarcus Walker, he's the one that gets him down. It'll be a loss of 5, and it'll bring up 4th down. You never want to give up a sack. From the O-line's perspective, they hate it for several reasons, especially because they felt like they let little brother down back there in the pocket.
Oh, no doubt. They have a ton of pride, and they go into every job wanting to keep that guy clean. They want that uniform with no grass stains, no dirt, nothing on it. trying to put him on the ground.
Nice job bringing that one back. 14 on the return. And the Broncos take over. First down and 10. Good starting field position for them here as they come up 1st and 10. Off play action. Keenum. Oh, he's able to outmuscle him here as he pulls it in. And a nice gain at 21 yards. And they'll go on the ground. And he'll lose yardage here. Back at the 41. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's 2nd down.
But we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading a play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
And they'll run it here. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. It'll be a 5-yard pickup there, so from 2nd and 13, they're back to a more manageable 3rd and 8.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
Throwing on 3rd down, Keenum. And he's got Hireman. And he'll get this one down to about the 20-yard line. His first catch, good for 16 and a first.
When this offense can get their tight ends involved, they can move the football. Here, a nice route, able to look it in.
A play fake here on 1st down. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out. Incomplete.
You get a tight end like this, and you know he's used to dishing out punishment. But here, he's one that has to absorb the contact, and as a result, unable to hold on to the football.
Now some movement before the snap. And we'll hear from our referee for the first time this afternoon.
Offense.
So that'll back him up 5. So after the penalty, heading in the wrong direction, 2nd and 15. They'll run it now out of the gun. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. 5 yards will get them back to the original line of scrimmage, but now they're looking at 3rd and 10.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
And out of bounds all the way down at the 2-yard line. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. Great footwork there, Charles, to dot the I, stay in bounds, get both feet in. He's probably thinking, though, man, I made a catch like that close to the end zone. I should have scored.
Yeah, there's always a regret when you're that close to the goal line. But let's go back to what you talked about before, getting his feet down. Would you say dotting the I? I can cross to get in bounds and make a great catch.
Now, prior to the snap, we hit all zeros as time has run out on the first quarter of play. 0-0 our score. We're back to Baltimore after this. Back alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. It's Bronco football to begin quarter number 2, and they've got it here with a 1st down. They come up in an offset I. They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. And he pushes forward but comes up short of the goal line as he'll get a yard down to about the 1.
That run didn't get very far, and I think when you're looking at his dimensions, he's a little bit on the smaller side. He's counting on the big guys up front to escort him in, and they couldn't create any kind of space for him, could they?
Yeah, didn't get the push they needed. And he is not going to get in as the big bodies stop him at the 1. They hold him again, and now all of a sudden it's 3rd and goal at the 1.
I don't know about you, Brandon, but I often think to myself, in these situations, I want a back who can create his own space, who can break tackles, and in a sense, become his own blocker. We don't have that guy in the game right now.
No gain on the play, and what to do now on 4th and goal. And McManus able to put it through. And the Broncos, the first to grace the scoreboard. It's 3-zip.
Brandon McManus, by the way, had the big field goal in Week 2 to lift Denver over Oakland 20-19.
Yeah, on a weekend where it was a struggle for his brethren around the league kicking the football. A lot of teams lost games or couldn't compete because their field goal kickers struggled. Now Brandon McManus 2 for 2 in the game, including a 39-yarder that won it for them.
He's perfect on the season so far, 4 of 4. Now Flacco and the Raven offense come up 1st and 10, right at the 30. Flacco from the gun, eluding the pressure right. It's brought in here by Willie Snead. That's good for a Raven first down, 15 yards there.
Looked like the defense put pretty good pressure on him, but he's able to flush out to his right to try and evade people. On the run, had to get on his horse. Still accurately throws a nice pass for a first down.
1st and 10 here for Flacco. Flushed out right. And he fires one incomplete. He was looking for Nick Boyle that time. That'll bring up 2nd down.
Well, let's take a step away from this game for a second. Talk about teams that are undefeated through 2 weeks in the NFL season. Miami, Denver, Cincinnati, Tampa Bay. How about those surprises all being 2-0 right now?
Yeah, the Jaguars, the Chiefs, and the Rams were all 2-0. Let's take those teams you mentioned, Miami, Denver, Cincinnati, and Tampa. None of them made the playoffs last year. And what's the one thing we do know about the NFL? Roughly half the teams that made the playoffs the year before will not make them 2 years in a row. So these teams could be some of the early replacements in the playoff race for 2018.
And one more stat, 62% of teams that start 2-0 make the playoffs.
He's going to rifle one deep left side. And incomplete. He can't hang on. Would have been a nice catch. Instead, it brings up a 4th down.
Seems like this defense, especially the secondary, has really been contesting about every throw in this first half.
Remind me of a good half-court defensive basketball team. Every time a pass is thrown, they're right there in good defensive position, able to affect the play.
Here's Sam Cook now. On for his 2nd punt. He'd take a repeat of his first. He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. Now the Broncos offense, they get set to head back onto the field. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not too happy.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Because you're exactly right. They're none too pleased that they didn't punch it in for 6 points. But they also have to remember they did put points on the board.
3-point try. Picked off by the safety, Eric Weddle. And his crew will take over with a football at the 35-yard line. Charles, when plays like that work, it's a thing to behold, but sometimes we see why they're buried deep in the playbook.
And how many times have we been at practice and heard all the other guys chirping about, I used to play quarterback in high school, I can do this, until it becomes a game situation. Not quite the same in many cases.
The Ravens get a new set of downs, give them 17 on that pickup. First red zone chance now for the Ravens. They have a 1st and 10 at the 18. 2 minutes remain here in the first half. We're back to Baltimore after this. We remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll take you to Orlando and Jonathan Coachman. Coach will have highlights and analysis of this first half, one that's featured no touchdowns as of yet on either side.
So his job's a little bit easier for this halftime report.
Need to give the coach some highlights here.
Yes, we do.
Throwing here on first down. Flacco escaping the pressure right. And he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down. Brandon Marshall able to run him down for a loss of a yard. And it's never good to take a sack. You really don't want to take one down here in this part of the field down near the red zone.
Not at all, because you're already pretty much assured of a field goal. But you take a big sack, it could push you out of range, and that's why defenses get a little more aggressive in this situation. They're almost conceding the 3 points.
At the 12-yard line. The reception good for 7. It's third down. They'll get to the line here, but remember, it's also third down. From the gun, Flacco, flush to his right. This will be caught just inside the 10. And he gets the first down yardage he needs before he's brought down at the 6. It's a gain of 6 as they're able to convert, and now it's first and goal. Operating out of the gun, Flacco, eluding the pressure right. The improv on the scramble there gets him 6, and it'll be second down. The Ravens moving quickly here as the clock runs. Second down, Flacco now. And this is caught. Touchdown, Baltimore. Nick Boyle, a 1-yard touchdown reception. And the Ravens are in for 6.
And while that touchdown does not give them an insurmountable lead, it's still a lead, and that always feels good to a team.
They'd love to take that into the lockers, but a little time left on that clock, so some work to do.
I like that. I like how you're guarding against a letdown there.
Already looking forward.
Coaching them up from right up here in the booth.
Tucker with the extra point, and that makes it a 7. And it's capped off by the Baltimore score. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Here's the Denver offense now as they get set to take over here. And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
Calling no gain on the play, and it'll be second down. They'll run it now out of the gun. And that play going absolutely nowhere as he's belted before he could get out of the backfield.
So he comes out of nowhere. He's got this handlebar mustache, greasy hair. And he says, would you rather eat a jar of mayonnaise or 3 sticks of butter? And I'm like, well, all right, never mind. Third quarter action now.
And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. Out come the Ravens now. They'll go on offense first here in this third quarter. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking to extend that lead.
And this is where I enjoy talking about one of my favorite subjects, tendency breakers, or counters as I also like to call them. You've done things in a certain way in the first half, and they've had the ability to see what you headed the pace because you are looking for some separation in this ball game.
The adjustment to the adjustment.
Without a doubt. Show them one thing, hit them with something else.
Well, taking a glance across the NFL through 2 weeks of the season, you've got quite a few teams that are winless, which obviously makes sense 2 weeks in, but the John Gruden era not off to the best start there at 0-2, Charles.
Yeah, you're exactly right about that, Brandon. I mean, the Raiders, I believe this is the 15th time in franchise history they've started 0-2. None of the previous 14 times have they started 0-2 and made the playoffs. So the John Gruden era, not off to the start they're looking for, but I do think they're going to improve during the year. I wouldn't rule them out just yet. They might make a little bit of history with their franchise. I think the Steelers and the Browns at 0-1-1, it's an odd record, but the Browns actually feel halfway decent about it if they can fix their kicking. The Steelers, utterly disappointed they're 0-1-1.
Yeah, but the Browns, you're right, they could very easily be 2-0 right now.
Now yet another incompletion here as they fail to connect on third.
I don't know, he had to be pretty quick with his fingers to start and stop after the ball hit the ground. I'm giving him some credit.
Well, I'm thinking about the mental focus, you know?
Yeah.
The mental focus of the whole
that's
thing.
true.
Got to stay with it.
That's true.
Here's Jones. 51 yards on the punt there. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. So now a look at the Broncos as they head back out there for their first possession of the second half. They were able to get the stop defensively. Now a chance really to set the tone here in quarter 3.
They can really take charge, can't they? And this is probably how it was drawn. Get the ball back for the offense, and let's go downfield and score. Seems simple, right? The last part, we have to find out if that's going to happen. But the first part worked to perfection. Did exactly what they wanted, and now their offense has to pay it off.
See if they can get the latter 50%. And he'll get it up to the 33-yard line. Only 3 yards on the catch. It's 3rd down.
I think it's okay there. They didn't get a whole lot on that play, but it's nice to have a safety valve that's built like this guy. Big target, guy you can spot pretty easily. Put it on him when your other targets aren't open.
Keenum now to throw. And that's complete to the tight end, Hireman. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. Give him 14 yards there and a Denver 1st down.
So much goes into a successful play, doesn't it? How about that play action there, freezing the defense just enough to bring the tight end free downfield for the completion.
They go play action here on 1st down. Looking deep for Demary. This is intercepted. Picked off by Marlon Humphrey. He was trying to hit Thomas that time.
Oh, man, Brandon, not a real good throw that time. He looked like he tried to put a little too much air under this one, and it turned into a floater. And defensively, this is a dream. He could have fair caught that one. That was way too easy.
And now Baltimore gets set to take the field.
They're going to have to go at least 50, 60 yards here.
What you're saying is we're not playing to just get out of the shadow of your own goal line, right? You're playing to make sure the punter doesn't see the field again. So it's not picking up a couple of 1st downs. You want to pick up 5 or 6 1st downs and make sure you move the ball into their territory.
They get the pick. Now what can Flacco do on 1st down? No gain, and it's 2nd down. Flacco from the shadow of the goalpost. And now he's got him in a great spot at the 8-yard line here, 1st and goal. They had him back deep, got the interception, and now they start inside the 10.
Partner forgets starting inside the red zone. They're inside the green zone. From the 10-yard line in, a lot of teams call it that because that's the money zone. Get it into the end zone and make your cash.
False start, offense.
That's going to set him back 5 yards. That false start knocks him back. They'll fake the handoff. Now Keenum. And this is intercepted, but they'll say out of bounds. Oh, very close to a turnover there in the end zone. Demaryius Thomas, the intended receiver. And now it's 2nd down.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that 1st down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field stands.
So the ref makes a call, no touchdown there, wipe it off the board.
They'll give it to him up the middle. And able to get him inside the 5 here, just inside the 5 to about the 4. A very valuable 9-yard pickup, and now they're set up a little better here for 3rd and goal.
Now, they struggled to get him rolling on the ground in the 1st half, and that's sort of continuing here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, but I don't think it's time to abandon the running game. I would say keep feeding the horse, and I believe he'll eventually reward them, especially as we get deeper in the game.
They've been denied touchdowns in the red zone twice already.
Here comes 3rd and goal. Got his man. It's Thomas. Touchdown, Denver. Demaryius Thomas from 4 yards out. And the Broncos use the short field to their advantage as they cash in for 6. And down near the goal line here, they're able to throw it in.
And the key word, quick. Quick hitter. Out of his hands fast, into the receiver's hands even faster.
McManus's point after is good. And the lead is now 10-7. Well, that drive started with not a whole lot of real estate in front of them. In plus territory, excellent field position. 2 plays later, pay dirt. Now McManus on to kick this one off. That's fielded in the end zone. And he'll get it up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. Now Flacco and the Raven offense come up 1st and 10 at their own 22. They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. And he is going to be taken down. And that should be the final play of this 3rd quarter.
Brandon, if I'm an offensive coordinator and I see an all-out rush like that, I file it away.
And they're not going to get to the line to run another play. So we will switch ends as the 3rd quarter has come to a close. We'll return with more after this. This is the NFL. Back now in Baltimore. It's been a very hotly contested game to this point. Just a field goal separating these two teams as we get set for the 4th quarter. Don't need it all back at once, but you figure they're going to need something here. 17 yards to go on 2nd down. Now it's Flacco. And he's taken down. Back at his own 7. Brandon Marshall in there to get him his 2nd sack now of the afternoon.
So, Brandon, we've sat in with a lot of coaches, and when they talk about things they want to accomplish offensively, I'm not sure that sack and sack are on their play sheet.
Third and long for Joe Flacco. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And he'll go down just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. It'll be a gain of 17, but even with that, they'll be well short here for 4th down.
I don't know how many times, not just in my playing career, but you and I working together, have we ever heard a coach say, you know, I just don't have that play on my call sheet. And that's really what we had here. That was a big hole they were trying to get out of.
Yeah, big gain still a ways. Here's Sam Cook now as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. He's averaging just under 50 yards a punt as he gets this away. Jones on the return. A nice job on the return there, 16 yards. And out will come the offense as they take over. Now this Broncos offensive unit ready to head back out onto the field. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
Incomplete, but a penalty flag is down in the backfield. Let's get the call.
Holding, offense.
So they will tread backward on the holding penalty.
And I know that they're going to get coached up and they'll get yelled at a little bit, but let's face it, it is hard not to do at the speed and pace that they play.
And they'll go with the ground attack here. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. And this defense here going to burn their 2nd timeout. But you can also factor in another timeout that they'll get when the clock stops at the 2-minute warning. throw on second down is Keenum. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete. The safety that time, Tony Jefferson there on the coverage. Pretty good coverage there, and both of these defenses, they've had good coverage throughout this one.
No doubt about it, and in today's NFL, where we're used to a bit more scoring, this feels almost like a well-pitched game in baseball on both sides where the tension continues to build. Who's going to make the big play?
Third and long. It's Keenum. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Lindsey. It's a gain of 11, but they're still well short. It's fourth down. Here's Marquette King now. Time for a break as he'll kick it away for the second time. We'll come back for the electrifying conclusion after this. So it's Bronco football as we get you reset here. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. Here's Marquette King now as he'll punt it away for the second time. And he gets this away, and look at this. This is a good one. And that is much too long. That's into the end zone for a touchback. And now Baltimore gets, that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
Back to throw. And now he'll tuck it and run. He'll get just a yard on the scramble. It's second down. The Ravens moving quickly here as the clock runs.
Yeah, he only gets a few yards on 1st and 10, but he's better off doing that than throwing an incompletion or even worse, an interception.
He'll look to throw. Flushed out right. And the hit jarred it loose. It's incomplete. Third and long coming up. Defensively, you pressure the quarterback or drape all over the passing lane?
Yes, that's exactly what you do. It's both because they're not mutually exclusive. They may have been at one time in football, but not anymore. You want to have that pressure. And if you have a big-time pass rusher, send him after the quarterback and then make sure you blanket the field.
They'll look to throw. Crabtree with it over the middle. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. A first down pickup there, Flacco to Crabtree. He's back to throw. Allen here on the screen. And he's able to get out to the 32, brought down there. A good convergence there. Back to throw. And his throw here's incomplete. Trying to get it to Willie Snead there. And it's third down. Setting to throw, Flacco. To Allen on the dump off. It'll be a gain of 6, and it'll be fourth down. Got to be careful here. They need to move quickly, but it's also fourth. Here we go. Fourth down, fourth quarter. Flacco. And that is incomplete. They had to go for it with such little time remaining. And that'll be just about all she wrote for this one. So they'll trudge off the field with a bitter taste in their mouths after that failed fourth down conversion.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of analysis there on the sidelines. Was it the right call? Was it against the right defense? Should they have even gone for it at all? Will that change what they do going forward in this game? A lot of questions to be answered by them. The defense doesn't really care. They're like, bring it on again. We'll stop you the next time, too.
Well, Charles, the old saying, the old cliche, if you will, points at a premium, that certainly applied here, didn't it?
And that almost felt like opened up a time capsule, didn't it? Old school football, low school.
Didn't you? You loved the defenses.
I certainly did. Brought back the images of the game of old.
So that'll do it for us. For my partner, Charles Davis, and all the hard-working men and women on our crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL right here on EA Sports.